Here we go again. Hello there.
So I figured I could make another sequel while the past one is kinda, well, in a low view count right now. So I'm making like another one just so I can just, well, you know, tell some more news before I can do my Halloween special. And I promise you, another one will be coming out in November after the Halloween special. But look, I have school, so you have to wait until the Thanksgiving break so I can give you more AUs so I can gamble about and somewhat. So enough said, this is my AU lore ramblings part 2. Number 1. In the iOS book, there is such thing as a Brendan branch push-pull train traveling between Wellsworth and Brendan. The rolling stock used would be an LSWR M7, which was loaned to the Wellsworth and Sudbury Railway, and along with its push-pull carriages to do the push-pull service. It would remain like this until the Class 100 began to replace the push-pull service. The locomotive was withdrawn in 1963 and was stored at Bosworth, while the push-pull carriages were scrapped. Surprisingly though, the locomotive is now preserved somewhere in the mainland operating on a heritage railway, with a recent overhaul being completed in 2022. And what happened to the Class 100 when it replaced the M7 on push-pull trains? Well, it was withdrawn in 1988 and it still can be seen operating on the Brendan branch, however as a departmental unit, and not a diesel multiple unit operating on the Brendan branch. Number 2. The engines that are allocated to Vickstown sheds are Edward, Gordon, 98462 and 87546, the Red Engine, and a GWR Saint class, along with a Lancashire and Yorkshire 440 that pushed Henry out of the tunnel thanks to some sketches that Audrey made. And no, it's not a 262, it's a 440. Number 3. The Pax Yard seen in Jack in the Pack used to be a motor rail terminal that was built by British Rail in 1977 at Kildane Railway Station. The cars would be loaded at Kildane and then would be shipped towards other places, including London's Kensington Olympia. It would remain like this until the motor rail ceased operations due to privatization of British Rail in the 1990s. In 1999, the Soto Construction Company had bought out the motor rail terminal and soon turned it into their own yards. The pack would move there in 2000, soon making it their new home and resonating there ever since. Number 4. Birdie the Bus was built by Leyland Motors in 1930 as a batch of 250 road vehicles sold to Soto Roadways between 1930 and 1934. After operating the company, it was soon sold to the Northwestern Roadways Agency, where it was preserved and it still operates on the Farquhar branch line today. Number 5. Edward the Blue Engine was built in 1896 as number 37 of the Furness Railway's K2 class. However, by 1956, Edward needed an overhaul, and after saving James from being a runaway after 2 boys were met up with his controls, he was sent to the works to be rebuilt. He was rebuilt from a K2 to a NER R1 440 steam locomotive, or an LNER D21, which gave him his iconic Railway Series style. Edward is still steaming in service as of 2023. Number 5. It's Good to Be Gordon, a hitter episode in my AU, but took place during 1934, just a month before the events of Coal. As per usual, Henry was suffering from steaming troubles, and soon Gordon has to shunt Henry and push him to the other side of the platform, where he was shunt into the correct platform where he was at. A week later, he would break his record, and soon, a year later, 1935, he was introduced to a brand new fleet of special coaches with the named train, the Liverpool Limited. Gordon would take charge of the train, along with his sleek fleet of coronation-style coaches from Titmuth to Liverpool. The train has since been discontinued due to the start of the Second World War. However, a coach from the Liverpool Limited can now be seen on Gordon's local train as of today. Number 6. When the notorious pacer units began to be built on British Railways, a Class 142 was sent to the Normanby branch line to operate trains out of Normanby to Vickstown and Crowlands Gate and back. The pacer units would remain in service until the early 2020s when the Sprinter family came to replace them. Around 2021, a Class 153 Sprinter unit came to replace the Class 142s, and they were sent back to the mainland and scrapped right away. Number 7. George the Steamroller is actually bilingual, as he can speak both English and German. Where he had got this is unknown, however could likely assume that he had got it from a German steamroller that lived in Germany and also hated the railways, which is now preserved somewhere in the German Alps. George is now owned by the Soto Roadways Construction Agency and can still be operating today, although complaining about the railways per usual. Number 8. After the Vicar of Walsworth died in 1996, Trevor was bought out by the Walsworth Traction Engine Committee. He would receive his major overhaul in 1998, not coming out and being put in service until at least 2001. He would receive his black livery akin to the Railway series before being repainted back into his TV series colors. Trevor the Traction Engine is still out and going today as of 2023. Number 9. Lady in Maiu is owned by the Olstead Mining Company and built in 1900 by the GWR Swindon Works. She was built to pull trains out of the mines at Olstead to the wharf at Elsbridge. She would operate with that company until being bought out by the National Coal Board, where she was withdrawn from service in 1963 and was soon put into storage. Later, in the early 1970s, she was restored to operating condition, officially being bought out by the North Western Railway a month later. She is still with us on Thomas's branch line as of today. And last but not least, number 10. The LMS and the North Western Railway signed an agreement in 1925 that allowed the LMS to operate trains into Normanby and the LMS order to operate trains as far as Ballin-Furness. In 1929, their contract has been expanded, which means the LMS can now go to Sodor and the North Western Railway would go under trackage, having a strong relationship. Their relationship would end in 1948 when both of the railroad companies were nationalized into British Rail. One of these duchesses, which is Duchess of Loughborough, is now preserved by the North Western Railway, still wearing her original number, and can be seen operating on the main line, pulling express trains. Well, this is something, I guess. Okay, so I'm finally done with this thing, and now I can just be in peace until Thanksgiving break. Look, this is not a ripoff of Fire Porter's Porterverse, okay? It's just an inspiration. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.